Implications. Oh, you had enough? Yes, experience. Life and with Veterans News Network, and today we have a very special guest with us, Leland Auslender. I consider this to be your art exhibit today to be a lifetime achievement event.
At my age, it is a lifetime. It's a long lifetime.
Certainly. And tell us a little bit about how you got started.
How I got started? Wow. Well, all my life, my father had a Super Iconda B camera, and I was allowed to use it. My uncle gave me a dark room, or helped me set up one, and I've been in photography all my life. I worked in the early days of television, 1948 with one of the earliest TV stations, CBS station in Salt Lake City for 5 years. I learned cinematography, photography, videography, and then I worked for Hughes Aircraft Company in the film department, writing and making films. And in my spare time, I made experimental films, one of which, called The Birth of Aphrodite, actually went to the Cannes Film Festival. And when I decided it takes a year to do a film on your own, on my own, I'd rather do photography where it takes just a few weeks to do a picture. And that's where I started doing these types of celestial images, I call them.
Your program today is called Spirit Ascending. And I've noticed, going around your works for years, I've known you for years, everything has to do with the spiritual, the ethereal. And you always have a philosophical thought to go with it. So could you share some of that information with us on how you feel about your paintings and your artwork and your photography?
Well, the thoughts that go with it are basically poems by the 13th century poet Rumi. And I was turned on to him by my good friend and actress Anne Randolph, who's a far-out comedian, but she was also a spiritual person. And Rumi's spiritual musings and wisdom just seem to resonate with my modern imagery. So I have a little 4-line Rumi poem to go with every image. And your question again about spirituality was?
You have everything that you do has a spiritual tone to it. And it's more than meets the eye. It's almost like it's a spirit and sound and poetry. How does this come to you?
Well, in 1960, I had what I call a transcendental experience. I had a 3-year-old son who unfortunately died at the age of 3.5. And it was a very painful experience, but I converted my pain into art. And I wandered through. He died in a hospital in Switzerland, and I spent a couple of weeks with my movie camera wandering through the zoos and the parks of Europe, taking pictures, and everything was just beautiful, celestial, divine. The world took on a different aspect, glow. And I made a film called Dear Little Lightbird in honor of him, where I tried to capture, in fact I did capture a lot of the images that I saw with my inner eye. And so I made other films trying to see the world in this spiritual light, mystical imagery. In other words, I had the images in my mind first, and then I developed methods and processes to try to bring it into photography, because I'm not an artist. I can't paint, but I can photograph. So instead of my photographs depicting hard reality, they depict inner mysticism, inner vision. And I've been doing photographs ever since, trying to capture this type of experience.
Some of your photography, the names like Beelzebub, Blue Flame, Bull Dancer, Burning Man, Cosmic Cat, Cosmic Connection, Cosmic Mother, Creation, Crown Chakra, Desire, Desire Demand, Divine Design, Evil Bird, Fawn, Friend, Friar Tuckus. Oh, tell me more about Friar Tuckus, will you?
Friar Tuckus, well, that was one of my earlier adventures. A friend of mine, Carl Miranda, who is a wonderful actor in person, turned me on to a 16-year-old model named Lisa. And we went up to a house in Topanga, and I got some wonderful natural light photographs. And I didn't notice it at the time, but she was kind of a free spirit, and she just leaned over the counter, pulled up her skirt and was looking at me with her back away from me, but behind her was this little statue of a friar. And it looked like he's looking at her. So I called it Friar Tuckus.
Makes sense to me. Let's talk about the artwork here on your left. Let's talk about that painting and the photograph.
Well, this kind of represents what happens when you let the divine work through you, when you open yourself to inner vision. And it's kind of feels like this sometimes.
The third eye you talk about now, how did this come about with your third eye?
Well, the third eye is just the symbol for inner vision. Rumi's poems are full of inner references to, if you want to see with your soul, with your spirit, close your eyes. It's an inner vision that comes to you. People say by the muse. Who knows? It's a great mystery of life. Everything's a mystery, a miracle. And this just is one representation of that process.
Leland, would you close your eyes now and look into your third eye and tell me what you see in your future?
In my future? Mm-hmm. I've never tried that. Well, strangely enough, because I'm 80, well, in 2 weeks I will, in 1 week I will be 80 something, 25, 83. I'm kind of interested in the death experience.
I can see why.
So I don't have to close my eyes, but it's people who've had a near-death experience, or the death of a loved one, but who've had a near-death experience themselves and have come back, they all talk about having this transcendental experience. And I met people who've experienced it, and they all seem to be similar. So that's pretty far in my future, I hope. But it's seeing this kind of imagery. And I've had a near-death experience where I already experienced it. But you seem to be going through a tunnel toward a white light or a beautiful garden, aeolian fields. Some people see their friends. I didn't have that experience. And some people believe you go into a new dimension. Nobody really knows what happens. but I'm open to anything happening or nothing happening. But philosophically, I believe we become one with everything, and we're all part of everything, and so our spirit, the spirit, the universal spirit, which we're part of, goes on.
Well, Leland, I've had a near-death experience, and I've shared it with you before, but let's share it together through photography, and just maybe share that together, because I'm 77, you're in your 80s, so let's take this venture together. All right? Leland Auslender, it's been wonderful to talk with you again and again and again, and in my third eye, I see a future for Leland and myself as we explore near-death experiences.
I've known Lee for so many years, and I've seen his progress. It's just wonderful. It's magical. He comes, he's like still waters run deep. Brings tears to my eyes. He's profound. He's so quiet, and yet he's so deep. You know, as evidenced in this beautiful threesome of the blue one, the series here, as evidenced in Rhapsody, and then in comparison to the clowns, it's magical. And then further up, the one about love, and he goes extreme to the Burning Man. I mean, it's just so amazing. He's magical what he does with the camera and with the digital. Absolutely fabulous. I adore him. What he feels in the expression of On Wings of Love. I love what he's doing with Rumi, for instance, that he's able to bring Rumi into this, and then it helps us to understand the magic that he's created here in relation to Rumi's saying. It's really profound.
چون حکایت